Okay, so I know I mentioned in the previous video that when my wife got home we were going to change out the car mats in the Model 3 with the brand new ones that Tesla just has on their website. We ordered them pretty much as soon as they came out, and they have arrived today. So we were busy during the day. We're going to go ahead and do this now. I just want to get a shot of the old ones so you can kind of see what they look like. We'll put them up against the new ones, and then I'll give you a shot of them actually in the vehicle itself, so you can kind of see what they look like and see if it would fit with what you wanted to do with your Model 3. Okay, so here's the box that it came in. Just going to go ahead and open it. They're probably going to be a little bit folded up. Depends upon how they were packaged. So let's see what they look like here. Got your installation kit. Of course, it's going to be in multiple different languages. It just tells you how to install it, what to do. And it said remove any existing floor covering, so do not put these on over the ones you have, and it just explains how to get the proper placement. So before you put these in, I would suggest highly that you go through, read this if you're not familiar with how to put floor mats in, which Lord hoping you should be, but it will explain how to do it so you don't have any issues with your brake or go pedals, since I can't call it a gas pedal anymore. So here are the new ones packaged in. Rubber actually feels pretty sturdy. They actually feel pretty heavy. They are grooved. You say Tesla on the side. Kind of hold it up right there. They are just embroidered, for lack of a better word, with the Tesla name. The back of it has your Velcro. It's going to stick it to the floor itself. There's a bunch of them on, this is the driver's one, I believe. So it's got multiple points on it, and then also little spike rubber things on there too to also further hold it in place. So that would be the driver's one. And then one for the passenger, very similar. She feels good, heavy. It doesn't feel cheaply made or anything. This one has a little bit less on the Velcro, so we'll see how that works, if it's any different putting it in. There's the front of it, what it looks like. It is grooved, so it does have, when it sits in there, it will at least pool some of the water or rain or snow that might be sitting in your car. They don't go very up high on the sides, so if you're in one of the areas that gets a lot of snow or multiple feet, and you're looking to have something in your Model 3 that stores a lot of snow or water without getting it on your carpets, you might want to look elsewhere. But for these, I think for most people, it should be just fine. And then the back, it's not all one solid piece, so we will see how that works. So it's actually pretty big. It's going to cover the center of the back seat as well. So as you can see, same rubber construction. These have no Velcro, just the rubber spikes here on the back of it. And each one of them does have Tesla on the floor mat itself. Alright, so one thing we noticed upon further inspection of these, you can kind of see them compared to the other ones here too, is that they have a lock in place here in the center. So you can attach them to one another in the back, which will also allow it to not move as much if you have multiple passengers in the back seat. These won't be moving around as much because they'll have one large piece instead of two smaller pieces. So kind of a nice little touch there from what I've seen. So we're going to go ahead, get them installed, and then we'll give you a look-see when we're done. So we're going to go ahead and put the driver's side one in now. I went ahead and already vacuumed the bottom of it. I would highly suggest when you put in new floor mats that you vacuum your floors so you're not trapping any dirt or anything else underneath it. Also, if it's wet, I would wait until it dries until you put something over it, because then you can just have a nasty smell in your car and you don't want any of that. So pretty self-explanatory on how this goes in upon reading the directions. It's very sticky, actually, as I'm putting this in here. You're just going to butt it up against your footrest there for your left foot. Make sure they're butted up against the side, and push down here. There's plenty of space in between the pedals and your mat itself, so that is pretty nice. I'll go ahead and push this all down so it gets good in contact with the ground, so it can stay put as you're driving. All right, it actually looks pretty good. So from what I've seen, I'm moving it pretty hard with my hands, and I can't really move it side to side. It's moving a little bit, but not a whole lot, and even not up at the top that much either. So I mean, your foot's not going to be underneath here at all. It's going to be over on top of it, and pushing this down, there's plenty of space here. Even if you get that to the floor, I don't think it's going to catch or anything here. So that looks, I think, pretty good. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do the passenger one now. I went ahead and moved the passenger seat back a little bit. So if you have it further up front, if you got a shorter passenger, it's good to move it back so you can get as much room as you can to get this in here. So again, pretty self-explanatory. Just get the back here so it kind of butts up against the back where it folds down. You can kind of see it, a little hill, I guess, right there. And you can kind of just get it in place, push it down. Again, this is for your passenger. So up here, this is the way it came. It was folded up a little bit, so this will naturally fall as it gets its regular shape. So we'll keep it down that long. I don't want it to keep falling down like that, but it doesn't seem like it's going to. It'll seem like it'll stay there. So passenger one, same thing. Doesn't move all that much. Actually feels pretty good. Not that your passenger is going to have a lot of foot movement up here, but it doesn't look like it's going to move all that much. So we got the rear passenger one right here. This is the one I recommend putting in first because it has the lock, well, got semi-locking mechanism there for it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to move it, put it down here on the bottom, kind of get it a little further up at first, and you can slide it back. This one will move a little bit more because there's no Velcro on it. So make sure you get it around here so it has a nice space so the front seat can freely move back and forth. And you still have good coverage back here for your feet. It's kind of right where it starts to bend down, right here in the seat, kind of right there. So we'll kind of hold that in a little bit. It does have a ridge here, so maybe 1/4 of an inch, I would say, as far as the height of these rails here on the side. So, and it goes pretty far underneath the back, under the front seat. So even if you move that seat all the way forward, you're still going to have plenty of rubber up there on the front to cover it. Then I'll go ahead here, we'll put the other one in so you can kind of see how it locks in place, and then we'll see how well they do. So we got the driver's side one here. Good way to tell too. I mean, you can easily really do go in one way, but the Tesla logo right there is on the outside closest to the door. So easiest to see right there, easy enough. So with this one, go ahead and just kind of line it up over here, and this almost lined up right away. So you're not really gonna feel it kind of lock in place. It's not gonna have like a click or anything like that. It's just pieces of rubber that will attach to one another. There is a mark for it on the bottom to go ahead, and then now that is all essentially, well, not one piece, but as close as one piece as you're going to get with two separate pieces of rubber. So it's right over here, butted up against. You can kind of move it a little bit, but for the most part, it is stuck there pretty good. And again, you got about 1/4 inch of rubber material here on the sides to catch any water, any kind of snow. Would recommend to, I mean, I don't think most people are getting into their car and having a snowball fight, but if you were looking for something that would hold a lot more snow and a lot more water, might want to look elsewhere because it doesn't cover the sides up here. So if that was an issue for you, might want to consider something else. The ones that I've seen on other sites, run more, and the wait period is longer for those. I don't know if WeatherTech has got them on their website yet. Last I checked, they had something similar to this, and it was stuff you had to cut to get it to work in place. So this is where pretty much flat in the ground. So if you had a high traffic car, or if you're in and out quite a bit throughout the day, multiple things in bad weather with snow, I would probably say these may work, but you might want to look elsewhere as far as if you had a lot of snow, that kind of stuff in your car, a lot of dirt. But for I think most people, these will work just fine. We have a 3-year, my daughter's 3, she's still in the car seat. So, but I don't see this being a problem for the majority of people who do need floor mats. They do say Tesla on it, so that's kind of a nice bonus. I would have liked it had to have not been little bit more subdued. Maybe the actual Tesla logo being like silver in color, or have some kind of you know, like plastic thing with the marker on it, like their frunk mat, and their trunk mat looks like. But for what this is actually pretty nice. I think it looks pretty good in the car. These are the lines and everything else to catch the water and the snow. Actually thinks it looks pretty well. So for right now, I think that's pretty much it for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, all that stuff. The referral code, of course, will be in the description. Any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, and I will answer as best I can. And thanks a lot. See you at the next one. So one thing we noticed too as we were putting them in, some people have remarked in the past, as far as because the carpeted mat from Tesla that you get when you get the car is one piece. It's one long piece. So some people like that as far as getting it in and out of the back seat, which I would say, depending upon what you're doing with it, if you're have any kind of mess like sand, being near a beach area, us being in Hawaii, we do go to the beach in this car. Of course, you do get sand. And if you're pulling out one big large piece, I've noticed with the carpeted mat too, that as we're pulling it out, that stuff tends to like get everywhere in the car. It goes in the seats, on the center console, and it could go in the AC unit here in the back. So one thing that I did like about it, that if you did have to clean it, say if you had just like my daughter, one person just on her side, I don't have to actually pull up the entire mat. I can just pull up one side. You know, it's easier to handle. I can grab this side, kind of collect whatever the material is here in the center, and then simply pull it out this way, like this, kind of fold it over here in the front, and then that way I can kind of pull it up just on this side and try to retain as much of it as I can here in the unit itself. Now, if I had to do that with the one long piece, it's a lot more difficult, a bit more unwieldy to try to get around. So that's one thing that I've seen with this, that if you are trying to, I would say, if you weren't so concerned with having a lot of water in it, and you just wanted something that was maybe easier to clean and easier to maneuver, if you have small kids, any kids in general, if you take around your car a lot, if you do, you know, Uber or Lyft and that kind of thing, in this, or in any car really, the double-sided rear car seats, I think, are easier to clean in the long run, where I'm not whipping out one big long piece and getting whatever is in them everywhere. Yeah, I can try to vacuum it as I get it out, but if I don't have a vacuum handy, if I don't want to, you know, get it out and plug it in, whatever like that, this is an easy way to get it up.